How many of you have ever felt like you're not enough? Like no matter how hard you try, there's a voice inside telling you that you don't measure up. I've been there. But I want to tell you something today. Self-doubt is a liar, and it's time we stop listening to it. Recognize the lies you tell yourself. Self-doubt isn't reality. It's a distorted perception of who you are. It whispers, you're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. No one believes in you. And the more you listen, the more you start believing it. But what if I told you that those thoughts aren't coming from a place of truth, but from fear? You've been listening to a narrative that was never meant for you. It's time to challenge those lies and replace them with the truth about who you are. Your confidence comes from your Creator, not your achievements. We live in a world that tells us confidence comes from success. Get the promotion, achieve the goal, prove yourself. But real confidence isn't built on achievements. It's built on identity. And your identity was never meant to be based on performance. It was meant to be rooted in something unshakable. You were created with purpose, and your worth is not up for debate. Speak life over yourself. The words you speak shape your mindset. If you constantly tell yourself you're a failure, you'll live like one. But if you start declaring truth, I am strong, I am equipped, I am enough, your mind will start aligning with your destiny. You can't wait for confidence to come to you. You have to start speaking it into existence. Take action before you feel ready. A lot of people are waiting to feel confident before they take action. But confidence doesn't come before the step. It comes because of the step. Think about David in the Bible. He didn't wait until he felt strong to face Goliath. He stepped forward and his faith carried him through. You have to move forward, even when fear is screaming at you to stop. Surround yourself with the right voices. Who are you listening to? If you're constantly around negativity, you will feed your self-doubt. But if you surround yourself with voices that speak life, faith, and encouragement, your mindset will start to shift. Get around people who remind you of who you truly are, not who your doubts say you are. Trust the process and keep moving forward. Confidence isn't built overnight. It's a journey. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll feel like you're starting all over again. But hear me, every step forward, even the small ones, is still progress. Your past doesn't define you. Your failures don't disqualify you. You are still in the process, and God isn't done with you yet. So today, I challenge you, stop listening to the voice of doubt. Start speaking truth over your life. Step forward even when you feel afraid. And remember, your confidence isn't in your circumstances. It's in the one who made you. Walk in that truth and you will walk in confidence. Are you ready to silence self-doubt? Then say this with me. I am enough. I am capable. I am ready. Self-doubt is a deceptive voice that sneaks into your mind, whispering lies that make you question your worth, ability, and purpose. It doesn't shout. It's subtle. It sounds like your own voice repeating negative thoughts until they feel like truth. But just because you think something doesn't mean it's true. If you allow self-doubt to take root, it will hold you back from opportunities, relationships, and the greatness you were created for. You have to learn to recognize these thoughts for what they are, distortions, not reality. Think about it. How many times have you convinced yourself that you weren't good enough, smart enough, or strong enough before even trying? You assume failure before the race has even begun. Maybe you're afraid of what people will think if you fail. Maybe you're afraid of stepping outside your comfort zone. But the truth is, self-doubt is not protecting you, it's limiting you. The enemy of confidence isn't failure, it's hesitation. The moment you start second-guessing yourself is the moment you hand your power over to fear. We have to ask ourselves, where do these thoughts come from? Sometimes they come from past failures, moments when we tried and didn't succeed, so we assumed that we weren't capable. Other times they come from people, words that were spoken over us, labels we were given, expectations we were told we'd never meet. But those voices from the past don't have the authority to define your future. You have to decide that their words will not be the final word in your life. The first step to overcoming self-doubt is to expose the lie. When you hear that voice saying you're not enough, stop and ask yourself, who told me that? Was it your own insecurity? Was it a past failure? Was it someone else's criticism? The moment you trace that thought back to its source, you begin to take back control. You were never meant to live under the weight of fear and insecurity. You were meant to walk in boldness. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many people think it comes from success, achievements, or external validation. But that's a fragile foundation. If your confidence is based on accomplishments, what happens when you fail? If it's based on people's approval, what happens when they criticize you? The problem with tying confidence to outcomes is that it makes you a prisoner to circumstances. True confidence doesn't come from what you achieve. It comes from knowing who you are. There's a deeper source of confidence that doesn't shake when you fail, doesn't crumble under pressure, and doesn't disappear when people doubt you. It's the confidence that comes from knowing you were created with purpose, that you are not an accident, and that your worth is not determined by what you do, but by who you are. The world constantly tries to measure you, your success, your intelligence, your status. But those things were never meant to define you. Confidence isn't built by proving yourself. It's built by believing in the identity that was already given to you. Think about a child who is just learning to walk. When they stumble, their parents don't say, "See, you're not meant to walk." No, they encourage them to keep going because they were designed to walk. The same is true for you. You weren't created to live in self-doubt. You were created to step into purpose with boldness. But if you believe that your worth is something you have to earn, you'll always feel like you're falling short. That's why true confidence has to come from something deeper than success. The reason so many people struggle with self-doubt is that they're searching for confidence in things that were never meant to provide it. When you believe your worth depends on how well you perform, you set yourself up for insecurity. But when you understand that your value is not something you have to fight for, you begin to walk in a new kind of confidence, one that doesn't rise and fall with circumstances. Confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance is thinking you're better than others. Confidence is knowing you don't have to compare yourself to others at all. It's understanding that your value is secure regardless of what happens. That kind of confidence frees you from fear. It allows you to take risks, try new things, and step into opportunities without being paralyzed by what people might think. When you stop looking for confidence in temporary things and start anchoring it in something unshakable, you stop needing validation from the world. You realize that no failure can take away your worth. No setback can erase your value. And no amount of criticism can change who you are. That's the kind of confidence that stands firm no matter what life throws at you.
The words you speak over yourself have power. They shape the way you think, the way you act, and ultimately the way you live. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you always mess things up, or that you'll never succeed, your mind starts to believe it. Your thoughts influence your reality. What you feed your mind is what it will produce. This is why self-doubt often grows stronger, not because it's true, but because it's constantly being reinforced by the words you repeat to yourself. Most of us would never speak to a friend the way we speak to ourselves. Imagine if someone close to you was struggling with self-doubt, and instead of encouraging them, you said, "Yeah, you're probably not good enough. You should just quit now." That would be unthinkable, right? But so many people do this to themselves every single day. They wake up and immediately start telling themselves why they won't succeed, why they're not worthy, why they should just give up. But here's the truth. Your words either build you up or tear you down. You have to start being intentional about speaking life over yourself. Speaking life doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on what strengthens you instead of what weakens you. It means replacing negative thoughts with affirmations of truth. When you feel like saying, "I'm not good enough," replace it with, "I am capable and I will keep growing." When you want to say, "I always fail," remind yourself, "Every failure is a lesson and I am learning." Instead of, "I'll never be confident," say, "Confidence is something I build every day and I am becoming stronger." These aren't just empty words. They are a way of rewiring your brain to think differently. Many people wait until they feel confident to start speaking confidently. But it works the other way around. You have to start speaking confidence before you feel it. Your words shape your mindset, and your mindset shapes your actions. When you continually declare strength over yourself, you start walking in that strength. It's not about pretending, it's about choosing a different perspective. Think about a champion before a big game. Do they stand in front of a mirror saying, I don't think I can do this. What if I fail? No, they declare victory before they step onto the field. They speak confidence, focus, and determination into existence. That's what you have to do in your own life. Stop speaking defeat over yourself. Stop reinforcing self-doubt with your words. Instead, choose to speak power, resilience, and faith. Every day you have a choice to either tear yourself down with doubt or to build yourself up with truth. What you speak over yourself will become what you believe. So choose wisely, because your words hold more power than you realize. Most people believe they need to feel confident before they take action. They wait for the fear to go away, for the perfect moment when they feel fully prepared and for reassurance that they won't fail. But that moment never comes. Confidence is not something you magically wake up with one day. It is something you build by taking action, even when you don't feel ready. The truth is, waiting for confidence before you act is one of the biggest traps of self-doubt. If you always wait until you feel ready, you will never start. Think about a time when you accomplished something difficult. Maybe it was the first time you spoke in front of a crowd, took on a new responsibility, or tried something outside your comfort zone. Before you did it, you probably felt nervous, unsure, and maybe even convinced that you weren't good enough. But once you stepped forward and actually did it, your confidence grew. Why? Because action is what creates confidence. Every time you do something you thought you couldn't do, you prove to yourself that you are more capable than your fears would have you believe. Fear thrives on inaction. The longer you hesitate, the more reasons your mind will come up with for why you shouldn't move forward. Self-doubt grows in the space between your desire to act and your decision to actually take the step. But the moment you move, even if it's just a small step, you break the cycle of fear. That's why successful people don't wait to feel confident before they act. They act, and that's what makes them confident. Think about a child learning to ride a bike. At first, they are scared, they wobble, they fall, and they might even want to quit. But if they keep getting back on and trying again, something amazing happens. They start to find their balance, they start to trust themselves, and before they know it, they're riding without even thinking about it. That's exactly how confidence works. You don't find confidence before you take action. You gain confidence because you took action. One of the most powerful things you can do to break free from self-doubt is to commit to action before you feel ready. Say yes before your fear convinces you to say no. Step forward even when your doubts tell you to sit still. Every time you do something uncomfortable, every time you take a step forward in uncertainty, you train your brain to believe in yourself. The key to building confidence is simple. Take action before you feel ready. Stop overthinking. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Stop letting fear dictate your decisions. Just take the step. Your confidence will catch up with you as you move forward. Failure is often misunderstood. Most people see it as proof that they aren't good enough, that they aren't capable, or that they should give up. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every successful person, every leader, every high achiever you admire has failed. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't that one group avoids failure while the other doesn't. It's that successful people see failure as a lesson, not a limitation. They don't allow failure to define them, they use it to refine them. Think about the greatest athletes, business leaders, and innovators in history. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school basketball team. Did that failure mean he wasn't good enough? No. It was simply a part of his journey to greatness. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before successfully inventing the light bulb. If he had stopped at failure number 100, the world would be a very different place. The point is, failure is not final unless you decide it is. The problem is that most people take failure personally. Instead of seeing it as an event, they internalize it as an identity. They don't just think, I failed, they think, I am a failure. And that's where the real damage happens. Your failures do not define you. They are simply data points, evidence of what works and what doesn't. Every failure contains a lesson, and if you're willing to learn from it, it will move you closer to success. The key to overcoming failure is shifting your perspective. Instead of seeing it as a dead end, see it as a stepping stone. Ask yourself, what did this teach me? How can I grow from this? What adjustments can I make? When you start viewing failure as feedback instead of defeat, it loses its power to discourage you. In fact, failure becomes one of your greatest teachers. One of the best ways to build confidence is to fail and keep going. The more you fail and recover, the more resilient you become. You start to realize that failure isn't as scary as you once thought. You discover that every setback carries the seeds of a comeback. And most importantly, you prove to yourself that no failure is powerful enough to stop you unless you allow it to. If you want to develop unshakable confidence, you must stop fearing failure and start embracing it. Step into challenges, knowing that setbacks are part of the process. Be willing to take risks, knowing that even if you fall, you will rise stronger. Confidence isn't built by avoiding failure. It's built by facing it, learning from it, and continuing to move forward. The people who win in life are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who refuse to let failure define them. Let me ask you something. How much longer are you going to let self-doubt hold you back? How many more opportunities will you pass up? How many more dreams will you put on hold because you don't feel ready? The truth is, self-doubt is a liar, and the only way to silence it is to take action. Confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. It's built by recognizing the lies of self-doubt and replacing them with truth. It's built by anchoring your worth in something unshakable rather than in external validation. It's built by speaking life over yourself instead of tearing yourself down. It's built by acting before you feel ready, stepping forward even when fear tells you to stay put. And most of all, confidence is built when you stop seeing failure as the end and start seeing it as the beginning of something greater. So here's my challenge to you. What is one thing you've been hesitating on because of self-doubt? What is one step you've been afraid to take? Maybe it's starting that business, speaking up in a meeting, or simply believing in yourself enough to pursue your passion. Whatever it is, I want you to commit to taking action. Not next week, not when you feel ready, now. Because confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. Your future self is waiting for you to make this decision. The person you are becoming is built on the choices you make today. So don't let fear be the loudest voice in the room. Make the choice to step up, to speak truth, to take action. And when self-doubt whispers, "What if you fail?" you stand tall and answer, "What if I succeed?"